I just wrote down, after doing the first ever step one, I just like seen, like, you know, we heard one before about all the evidence that I suffer with this disease of addiction. Do you know what I mean? And that I've got no power to stop it. But after I drove that out, I thought, well, what the fuck do I do now? Because it's just telling me that I can't stop and I've got nowhere else, and I'm just going to keep in this cycle of doing it all the time. So then I went, like, because I was in this treatment centre, I went on to step 2. You don't have to be in a treatment centre anyway, just join an NA, do you know what I mean? Which I'll explain now. So we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Now, when I very first started like reading these things, it all seemed a little bit too fucking much for me. Like I've just been explaining, do you know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck does that mean? We came to believe that a power greater than me could restore me to sanity. I'm not insane and all that. But again, after going through the questions and the work, I started to see what it meant, you know, what it was saying to me. Like the first load of questions on a step 2 are about how my insane thinking always takes me back to using drugs, you know what I mean? I just couldn't stop myself. So after I started doing this step, I started the power greater than me. It's like at first I was thinking myself, like other people have that, this power greater, and talking about believing it was something to do with God, but because I've been through this stuff before, I realised that the power greater was just me. Like I've come into here now, I couldn't stop using out there. I couldn't stop. I was just in step 1, fucking living in step 1 out there. But I've come in here. Now if I was on my own in here now, with none of yous around me, and there was one member of staff in there, I would be at that fucking shop and I'd be fucking drinking ale, or whatever. I'd be scoring off the fucking lads up the road. But because I'm surrounded by all yous lot, and we're all on the same journey, that's like a power greater than me, because I don't fucking want to go out. If I start thinking like that insane thinking of drinking or taking drugs would be a good idea now, and run it past someone, then they're going to fucking say, that'd be a bad idea, you'll get kicked out and I'm fucking restored to sanity. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, that's basically it for me. So, like I said, I've just explained in step 1 about being run by the power of addiction, so I needed something bigger than it, which is all usual at the moment for me, do you know what I mean? Because I'm not using at the moment, so something fucking working for me. And at the moment, this place with all usual, do you know what I mean? I'm not using. This step also tells me, after going through the work, that my thinking's insane and I run on self-will, which creates all the shit in step 1. So another thing what I learned in step 2 is I need to ask for help. I need to run my thinking past usual, past people to get restored. I need the meetings, I need the literature, and all these things that are power greater. Then I get hope then that maybe there's a way out. Because when I wrote my step 1, so I was thinking, man, fuck dear, I've got no way out of here. But after doing a step 2, realising there's a power greater than me, which is usual at the moment, then maybe there's a way out, do you know what I mean? So I start to believe that I tap into this, keep on asking people for help, and you know, that, you know, me crazy thinking can be restored. So then I've got your little picture. So this is me, 6 stone, and me thinking absolutely fucked, a wreck of a house, do you know what I mean? Because I do houses up and, like, do you know what I mean? So after doing this step and having a little go, the body starts like to heal, do you know what I mean? I was a fucking absolute mess when I come in here, and my thinking starting to be restored, because I've got used lot to, you know, to ask about help and that. That's basically it for step 2. But so then I've come to believe now that this power can restore me to sanity as long as I keep using it. My problem in the past has been isolate myself off from this power and running on my own will again, thinking I've got this box, I can do this myself, I don't need fucking meetings and I don't need usual. Next thing, I'm back to step 1, fucking with me insane thinking that picking up's a good idea. Do you know what I mean? But after this step 2, with getting loads of hope and still being surrounded by usual, and then we made the decision, step 3, we made this, I can't say the word, decision, to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. So when I first seen this, I've never had a problem with God, as many people know. I've talked about it in my step work. But people, it doesn't really matter whether you do or you don't, because you know, God can be anything you want it to be. So now I've got some hope and I believe there's a way out of time to get willing to change. And for me, making the decision is going back to step 1, or to go with some sort of faith that this could work if I carry on. I got that hope out of step 2. If I carry on doing this stuff, then maybe this could work for me. Do you know what I mean? Because what I realised is after writing it out, my self-will be, it's a disaster every time I run my life. because I'm being consoled. I'm being consoled by the disease and wanting everything done my way. God's will is my conscience kicks in, and God gives me to try and do the right thing. And I've never had one before. I never had my conscience. I sort of said this in the meeting last night about step 3. When I was in step 1, I had no conscience. I didn't care who I hurt, what I had to do to get anything, and whoever stood in my way was getting hurt. But now that I'm at this point now, it usually happens for me at step 3 where my conscience kicks in, and I sort of realise if I'm doing the right or wrong thing. Now, if I never had a conscience in step 1, and I've got one now, where's that come from? So for me, that's come from, like, it's God-given for me, do you know what I mean? So if it's God-given, I've got to start listening to it when it kicks in, because it was never there before, do you know what I mean? So when I break step 3 down, for my own way of working step 3, I break it down into 3 parts. So I'll get up in the morning, and I'll set my stall out, I'll say my prayers, and I'll ask God to, like, I'll sort of like say, look, I'm in your hands. I say a step 3 prayer, which is like, God, I offer myself to you, and there's a bit more to it, but that's what I'm doing. And then secondly, through the day, I've got to watch myself now, so that when that conscience kicks in, that I don't act on it, or I act on either my will or God's will. Do you know what I mean? If a situation arises, like someone upsets me in the office or whatever, and I don't react. And then the third part of step 3 for me is I'm not in control of things anymore, so I just like let whatever happens, happens. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. Usually I'm trying to plan it. I'll get a job, I'll build a house, I'll do this, I'll do that. Never ever plays out that way, you know what I mean? So it's time to like stop trying to run my life and let God take control of it. So that's that's the decision I've made, to carry on doing this stuff, and everything should be alright as long as I keep doing this stuff. Trying to run on God's will rather than my will. So that's my understanding of the 1, 2 and 3.